letter to your future self, let's say to you 30 days from today. Today is the 26th of March. For yourself for the 26th of April, today you are choosing the habit of, for example, Mr. Prem can decide that today you're choosing the habit to let go of reacting to a work notification before it actually comes, before reading the notification. And you can write that I hope you feel. You can say relaxed, better, however you're feeling about it. And one thing I'm letting go is you can decide whatever that thing, depending on your trigger is. And I believe you have grown because of that. So this letter is in hope, right? Hope for when you make these changes, what your life is going to be better for. And this might feel like an activity that is not making sense, or it might feel like, oh, why should I do this? This is such a small activity. But these small ways is how, you can build a better today. It's not like if you do some major change, your life is going to just transform 360 day today. I say that, okay, you know what, let's do 10 minutes of meditation and that's going to make you happy. No, that's not going to happen. We need to micro organize our day better that we, become happier. So, this is a letter that you can write. I want to talk about digital boundaries, also small ways in which digitally you can make some boundaries from during your workday, right? So, for example, when you wake up in the morning, you can take a screenshot or photo of this and you can try to incorporate it in your everyday life. Try to have a phone-free morning, right? So, no screen time for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Every day, I think we wake up and we see so much of stimulus, right? Notifications, all of these messages coming, and it makes you stressed even before the day really starts. So, try to have a phone-free morning. Um, you can have notification detox. Let's say your workday ends, whatever time that day ends, and you log out at. You can turn off all non-critical alerts by 8 p.m. so you know that there's no stressor that's happening before your bedtime. Email windows, you can check email. Obviously, you'll have to check during your work hours, but after work hours, you can decide maybe once, like if your work ends at 6 p.m., you can decide that, okay, you check work email at 6 or 7 o'clock, and then you can just directly check it at 9 a.m., right? You can divide however your email windows are like according to your work day and decide to have no phones at meals. Let's say you're back from work or you've had a work from home day. If you're having food at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, you can decide to have no phones at your meal time. A lot of times we don't, even if you're having it alone or if you're sitting with people, you don't, use, try to not use your phone, right? Um, and screen, 1 hour of zero screen time before bed, if you can make it possible, that would also help you sleep better. Um, Please try to have some D&D hours also. You can decide to, have some D&D hours, let's say after 8 o'clock, calls or messages shouldn't, be reaching you. And that's how you can digitally detox. I want to share some why or how is this going to make your life better, right? Does happiness at work really matter? We have seen, according to research, that 23% of higher productivity is seen in happy employees, 66% lower sick days, because if you're not happy and you're feeling stressed throughout, your body also processes it. And you will get sick more than other clients which are more satisfied or happy at their work. Okay. So you'd also have expression of creative emotions, reduction in absenteeism. You can see that there is 41% reduction in absenteeism with employees that feel happier. Um, and there's a quote which says that happiness is not the belief that we don't need to change, it's the realization that we can. Okay. I want to share the importance of everyday change that happens. Okay, so neuroplasticity is a psychological concept which says that happiness reshapes our neural pathways. For example, if we make small habits in our everyday life, like we talked about digital boundaries, waking up and not checking our phone, or having D&D times, also trying to make importance for our relationships around us. So many times we come back from work and we still use our phone. So that also impacts the relations around us, and though they don't feel happy and wanted. Small wins will make bring changes. Neural plasticity is that your brain continuously has the power to make new neural pathways, and your brain is constantly evolving and changing due to the habits that you make, right? It takes around 28 days to form a habit that keeps on. So let's say you make a change today and you follow it for 28 days, it will result in a permanent habit, right? So these are certain ways in which you can make changes in your life. Common workplace stresses that you could have would be, like some of you talked about, high workload calls and emails, tight deadlines, interpersonal challenges in your homes or relationships. You said that, some of you have an issue in, managing work-life balance, household activities, as well as work activities. Um, Burnout and hustle because so much is expected, poor communication with your management or other people, the tone in which some people talk, or the lack of recognition. Let's say you've been working for so long at your workplace, but you do not get recognized, or you do not get your desired, promotion. That can also cause a stressor. And digital overload. So from the time we wake up to the time we sleep, our leisure activities also now revolve around digital, spaces. For example, if you're consuming OTT after coming back, that's also adding on to your already digitally, consumed stimulus. So you can try to maybe have some spaces which are non-digital in nature, which could be just taking a small walk, without having any digital part in your daily life. Okay. Um, the 1% better rule is that if you're 1% better every day for a year, it will be 37 times better than what you started, right? So, some small goals that you could do instead of bigger ones, right? People make New Year's resolutions, which is hard to sustain. You might make 10 changes that you want to change on 31st of December. But if you start with something as small as a 5-minute morning intention, it could be 5 minutes of sitting with just water, or 5 minutes of just sitting with yourself before the day starts. It's more sustainable and immediate in nature, and it's something that you can incorporate every day as compared to a bigger change on the end of the year. Okay. Small three things that you can be grateful for, you can add in your daily routine of 5 minutes. You can just, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself three things that are okay in your life today. Um, Instead of, listening to happiness self-help books or podcasts, which might feel like you're feeling better by listening to it today, or there's some change that's happening, but it's very hard to sustain and no major change happens because um, they're telling you so many things that you could do in your everyday life, but it might not be practical for you to implement it. Um, During your work days, let's say you can have in an hour or 1.5 hour, you can have just 2 minutes of movement. You can just take a small walk of 2 minutes. You can just walk to get water, or you can walk to get yeah, so if you can incorporate basically 2 minutes of movement breaks instead of, some major change like getting a new gym membership, or some deciding to just join a new sport or something like that, but something which is more sustainable in nature, might be more practical and something that you can do every day. Right. So, Harvard Medical School found that people who take 5 minutes for morning intention setting report 31% higher focus daily and 28% better mood, according to a research. How can you take micro breaks, right? So if you work for, let's say, 25 minutes, you can like take a break for 5 minutes and repeat 4 times. Let's say work for 25 minutes, then you take a 5 minute break if it's possible. Otherwise, if you work for 1 hour, you can also take a 10-minute break. Here, what is important is that you're trying to incorporate breaks in your daily routines. It should be movement based so that that's helping your body also take a break from the digital and work environment, basically. Okay. Um, Once you're done with work, let's say after an hour or 2 hours, you can just sit in and see if your shoulders are too stressed. You can just relax it for a minute. It's resets tension and body buildup that's happening because of stress. You can also like just during break watch a 2 minute funny clip. Laughter also helps you reduce cortisol, meme based, right? But try to not use Instagram because that can like increase your screen time more. But just some funny clips for 2 minutes or 3 minutes to just, relax. 2 minutes walk or movement breaks, like I said, and every 20 minutes you can look just 20 feet away from your laptop, right? So it would just help you understand that, where are you currently. It will help you ground yourself to your present environment and take away from the digital overload that's happening because of the screen. Okay. So these are some ways in which you can make some changes in your everyday life. Some digital boundaries that you can do is that there are some apps which are obviously more addictive in nature, like Instagram and other things. What you could do is that, like I said, you can have no phone zones and you can have checking of notification timelines and email rituals. Like once you stop with work, pop-ups might come up, but you can check it in the morning as well. Let's say if your bedroom or your, when you're eating food, you can try to have a no phone zone, right? Some ways in which you can be more available to people around you also would be small affirmations, let's say to your colleagues also, which would be like if you're nodding while talking, or if you say good point, or if you say that I understand what you mean, it might cost you nothing, but it might feel really valuable to you and your colleagues around you. So, in this way we can build trust and also feel like our relations are meaningless. A lot of times the non-verbal cues that we are giving during communication is what adds for people to not feel connected, right? Another thing would be celebrating small wins. So a lot of times we keep achieving in our life, right? Like what next, or what is after this from our goals, but we never sit to celebrate our small wins. A small thing, if you see someone nice, like if you see someone wear good clothes, or if you see someone do good work, you can just celebrate their small wins and tell them that, okay, I see this, I acknowledge you, and your work matters, right? While someone is talking, please try to not use your phone because it's disrespectful, and I'm sure that you would also not like it when you are, talking to someone and using your phone. Try to also check in with people. They really appreciate general check-ins as to how are you doing. A lot of times we say good morning or hi, but we don't have the time or the intention to really know if someone is doing well or not. So at work with your colleagues, you can just not, it's not necessary to just say hello, hi. And a lot of times everyone tells that they are doing fine. But if you really sit to ask what happens in your lunch breaks, it creates an environment of psychological safety where as colleagues you can be there to listen to each other, right? A lot of times our stress is not shared because we go through it individually. So uh, three good things that you could do in your, let's say, in the week would be that if your morning meeting actually started on time when you logged in, you can reflect after work is done and say that my team respects, each other's time. We've built trust. A colleague noticed you look tired and they got you food or tea. You can see that someone was paying attention to you and you mattered to them, right? A lot of times, a lot of people might do things for us, but we might take it for granted. So even at home, if this is happening, you can sit to acknowledge, what is happening. And the third would be if you solved a problem you'd been stuck on for days, if there was a task that you were not able to solve, you can think that, you were continuous and you did your work. So you are capable, and it's also important in the way you talk to yourself is how you feel about yourself. If you self talk in a way that's always critical, it will make you feel stressed and it will make you feel unappreciated. Okay, so just be careful as to what and how you're talking to yourself. The way you talk to yourself matters the most. uh yeah, so I will just end with telling an example for some apps that you can use for every day, in terms of resources that you can use to make sure of calming techniques every day. There's Headspace. You can take a photo of this, which is a guided meditation and breathing app. You can use Gratitude by Reflectly, and a self-care app which can help you track your habits. There are some podcasts which I've shared here. TED Talk, The Happy Secret to Better Work, The Power of Vulnerability. There's Huberman Lab podcast on neuroscience and habits and mood, and Work Life with Adam Grant. Certain books also you can read for building better habits, which is Atomic Habits by James Clear. The happiness app.
Sonakshi, can you decrease the size of your window? Because I think people will not be able to see the additional resources screen. And
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, 1 second.
Also, everyone, Sonakshi will be sharing the PPT with us. So anyone who was saying that they were not able to see the screen fully and not read it, you can approach your HR or insurance partner or contact us directly, and we will share the PPT with you. Also,
Mm,
the event would be uploaded on our YouTube channel.
yeah, I have just shared this now. I think the content will be visible on the home screen.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so you can make a note of this. You can just take a photo of all the resources that I've shared that you can take to build better habits. Um, The Social Dilemma is also a Netflix film which tells us about digital wellness awareness. Inside Out and Happy is a 2011 documentary and the mindfulness movie. So you can just take a photo of this. I'll also be sharing the PPT for the resources. And these are the resources that you can take for apps, books, podcasts, and videos. I would now be opening if someone has individual questions, we can take that in. You can also take a note of this. My page is Mental Health with Sonakshi, and you can also ask IMD Care for my number if you wish to interact. And we can take in questions now to just talk. If anyone has any individual questions, we can take it up.
Yes, they can put it in the chat box or in Q&A section and I can just read out to you one by one.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yes. You all can put your questions in the chat box and we will address them. शेयर करना मेरे साथ भैया मैं अकेले क्यों नहीं खाऊंगी
Uh, Sonakshi, I think there one.
I think some people have raised their hand, or we are getting
Yeah, they have raised the hand.
we are getting
We
chat.
might not be able to take everyone. We can
Yeah.
ask them that if they can write it down in the chat. For the people who are saying, please kindly share the PPT. You
Hmm.
can approach us and we'll share it with you. You can contact IMTK and we'll share the PPT with you over email. Sonakshi would be sharing that with us post the event.
Okay,
Also,
I think we can take up two questions. It might be difficult to see the questions from
Yeah.
the chat
So,
box.
I'll just go to the question which Prem Kumar has raised. Mobile phone is too much of distraction. How to get out of the habit?
Okay, mobile phone. So, okay, what you could do is like I shared certain apps, right? Headspace. This will time out your phone so you can't access it during those couple hours. Okay, so these apps can help you stop and don't, give you access during those hours of work. And when it'll be locked, it will stop you and build an habit without it. So that's how it can work with addiction and using it a lot because these apps will lock your phone basically in that period and you can concentrate on your work. Yeah.
Okay. So there is one question. Please share the quote from Gita regarding desire. Also, please share other quotes. Could you suggest some classes to build good habits or better lifestyle like meditation or yoga, which can increase happiness? This is mainly to quit bad habits like smoking, drinking, to keep happiness or energy or to get refreshed.
Mm, I didn't get it because it's a mix of three, four things. What exactly do you want the
I just break it down for you, Sonakshi. So they just want to understand some habits and practices like meditation, yoga is there, but what other things they can do to increase happiness because currently they are relying on smoking and drinking to have that happiness and energy.
So this is a quote from Gita, I think that they're looking at. I'll just share that in the sense I'll just share my the PPT so you can share that. Probably that's going to help with the quote part. See, definitely one thing would be that if this is addiction, I would really tell you to start therapy and talk about it in with a counselor because if in case you're using it a lot and that's how you're coping, it might be more depth to what is the issue that is bothering you. Stress, मतलब क्यों stress हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है. So I'm sure yoga is also going to help you relax, but it won't work if you're saying that substance is the way you're using it. So talking about it and in therapy, that is probably going to help. In case you only feel like it's just anxiety and work related, then obviously activities like meditation and yoga is going to help you relax. But if it is deeper and you're thinking that smoking or ये सब हो रहा है उसकी वजह से, then I'm sure that therapy might help better.
Also, they are asking if there are any classes,
Classes for what?
just activities that help in happiness. I believe therapy is one of them, but apart from that, he's
Yeah,
asking.
see, actually, therapy is not for happiness. Therapy works if you're having a issue like, a deeper issue, like a lot of people share that they have stress or something is bothering them, overthinking, all of this stuff is happening. But in terms of, activities for everyday better, it would be that you can start art therapy. That is a good way to relax. Or yoga is a great way to relax using dance classes, anything that involves your body and movement and takes your mind away from your current situation is going to help you relax. So, yoga classes, dance classes, whatever dance helps you. These days, there's exercise based dance, also Zumba and all of that. Then, taking small walks. If you don't want to take any classes, you can just go, and nature really helps you ground yourself and be more in tune of your environment. So just taking a small walk for 5 to 10 minutes also in the nature is going to help you if you don't want to take any classes. A lot of people these days use expression based art therapy based classes, so you can also look in your areas. Pottery is also a great way to help relax. It calms your mind while playing with clay. It also helps you, regulate your system. So these are certain classes that you can join to help and be build better habits. Yeah.
Okay. So there is one question here. It is, put in the chat box. Like, which exercise or yoga would you like to recommend to keep them happy? This.
Uh, See, I'm actually not a yoga guru, so I cannot tell you exact some activity to tell you like कि ये योगा करने से आप happy रहोगे. मुझे लगता है yoga is important for movement and meditation helps you ground yourself. Those are two different ways. If you're looking कि आपको specifically, I don't think any kind of specific yoga is going to make you really happy, but incorporating it and अगर आपको training है तो आप सूर्य नमस्कार वगैरह खुद कर सकते हैं विच विल हेल्प यू stretch and relax your muscles better. But in case you're not trained, then I would tell you to go to a yoga class and then try to make yoga a part of your movement. But meditation and yoga are two different things. Yoga is for building your flexibility and your body, and meditation will help you ground and relax better. Yeah.
Okay. So we have one question from Komal. So
Mm.
many times I want to forget things which happened years before, but sometimes if anything happens similar like that again, then I remember all the things which happened earlier. How should I manage to not to recall them?
Many times I want to forget things happened years before, but sometimes anything like that. Yeah, so I think this is like a trauma-based response. If something has happened and you're trying to forget it, it's your way of coping up. I would really tell you to talk to any professional. If you feel comfortable, you can talk to me. And if you have any other person also, you can talk to them. But I don't think this is something to navigate on your own because if you're trying to forget something that happened years back, it's just your body's way of suppressing trauma. Hmm. We can talk about it individually, Komal. You can reach out to me. I can do one thing. I sent it also, but I can just put my message number here if that's okay. And if
Yes, sir,
some
actually, you can do that.
reach out, they can do that. Komal, you can also talk to me after the session, and if there's anyone else. who would wish to do that also. Yeah, I think some things are just things that happen in our past and we are not able to, navigate it on our own. So it might get really tough. So yeah, I think we can take in one more question. We can talk in.
There are some questions in Q&A. Suman, can you
Yes,
please
yes, yes.
share them? Yeah.
So there is one question. Are anti-anxiety medicines effective for the long time?
I don't I would not talk about like any medication or anything just very generally without knowing your history or anything like this. So if you are prescribed by a psychiatrist and if you have proper healthcare diagnosis I would not say कि आपको खुद को self diagnose या कुछ भी दवाइयाँ खुद से लेनी चाहिए. They can have a lot of effects. Yeah. Okay.
Um, so there is one question by Vikas. Can overthinking be reduced by basically for a workaholic person? Like, is it possible to reduce overthinking for a workaholic person?
If you're saying workaholic, it depends on why are you working. Is it to avoid some things or do you have some achievement in mind what is making you work? अगर आप गोल ओरिएंटेड वर्कaholic हो तो दैट्स डिफरेंट. अगर आप अपनी प्रॉब्लम्स और चीज़ों को भूलने के लिए वर्क करते रहते हैं just to not be at home or other things. So it really depends on the reason why you're working so much. But it can be reduced by different ways. First would be to understand why are you working. If you're feeling workaholic is I think it's a self sort of self मतलब आपने खुद को ये word दिया है तो I don't know what you mean by it but it can be reduced. It just depends on why are you working so much. So to understand the reason behind it, slowly we can work on why the overthinking is happening. Yeah.
Yes. So we have almost answered all the questions which were raised by our attendees. Uh, if anybody has any other question, we can just take that. How to keep calm when we do not want to take any action or respond to situation which we do not want, but it's happening. How to control? Any suggestions?
Mm, Okay, so I think this depends on the context of what is happening and how to keep calm. I shared some grounding techniques that you can do, like the boxing technique also that you can do. One grounding technique would be the 5 4 3 2 1 technique. So what you could do is like when you're sitting, 5 things that you can see, you can name it, right? 5 things that you can see around you. It would be a bottle, it can be a glass, phone, laptop, charger, 4 things that you can touch. So you can try to touch anything that's around you, like the glass, or let's say a clip or your phone. 3 things that you can smell. So any smell that you have around you, you can, see anything that's happening. 2 things that you can taste if you have anything around you. So basically, this is in ways of incorporating all of our 5 senses. Grounding would be helpful once incorporate all of your senses and get yourself in your here and now. Um, I don't know what other situation you're talking about, but perhaps we can talk more individually if it's about a specific situation. But these are some ways in which you can ground in during anxiety. Yeah.
Yes. So Sonakshi, we have covered most of all the users' questions, and also we have given your contact number in the chat box. So if all of you, if somebody wants to, connect directly with Sonakshi and have a expert opinion or, have want to chat with Sonakshi, you can directly reach out to her. Thank you so much, Sonakshi, for your valuable time. The session was very interactive, and I hope whatever suggestions you have given to our users, our attendees, it will help them. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending today's session. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me over.
Thanks, Sonakshi. Bye.